Well, good morning. I am Joshua Hong, the founder of Synesis One and also co-founder of Mind AI. It's my honor and privilege to be here, and thank you for the invitation. So I want to talk about, actually answer three key questions. Number one, what is Synesis One? And number two, what does it take for any one of you in the room to actually join Synesis One and start making money? I know that some of you may not be in that income category, but also I do see a few college students here making a few $100s a week might matter. So those of you. And lastly, I want to talk about what's the next step for Synesis One, because this space that we are getting into is very exciting. When you think about AI cannot happen without data. Somebody has to supply the data, whether this data comes from some kind of machine learning algorithm or it comes from humans like all of us, it has to come from somewhere. And I bet my money that a lot of those data will have to come from us. Okay. So let me start with a simple story. This is a friend. His name is Mike, and he lives in city of Mumbai. And he's currently a full-time MBA program student at the University of Mumbai. And he started about 6 months ago, so I think he's completing his first semester. And I've actually asked him to come join and talk, but he couldn't because he's going through finals today. So before he became a full-time MBA student at the University of Mumbai, he was actually a school teacher. And he was earning roughly about, I would say, $600 in US dollar term a month. Now, so after leaving his job and joining this full-time program, he decided to join Synesis One because he wanted to supplement his income, maybe perhaps pay for his MBA tuitions. And Mike today is top gross earner in our entire ecosystem. Now right now we don't have too many people, maybe a couple hundreds of people joining our ecosystem, training Mind AI. But I could tell you, because this is a cryptographically provable data, he's number one in, I think, several hundreds of wallets that are connected to our system and earning by training Mind AI. He earned, thus far, roughly about 3.6 million SNS. In today's value, because our cryptocurrency, our SNS, crypto, changes its value every day. But as of, I think, a few days ago, that's worth about $30,000. So in 6 months, he earned $30,000 basically training Mind AI. Now, if you think about it, he was earning $600 a year. Now he's making roughly about, I would say, $5,000 plus a month. So you could imagine how much earnings that he's making as a full-time MBA student, but at the same time, he's earning great money, and also he's training AI. So how does this happen? And what is Synesis One? So Synesis One is very simple. It's a system that we built on blockchain, and by using it, you're naturally training Mind AI, and by doing so, you're earning crypto. But this crypto is very liquid, meaning you could take the crypto and then you could convert it into any currency you want. In the case of Mike, okay, let's say he just earned $5,000 worth of SNS. Now he gets paid SNS directly into his wallet. From SNS to Indian rupee, it takes about 15 minutes. It's super fast. And that's what we built. Now, it took about 18 months for us to build this system. This is the world's very first blockchain-based AI data supply chain training system. So let me just kind of walk you through how the whole thing works. Now, the system is still in open beta. So the actual app, although we're using it, it's not available in the App Store. It'll be live in the next, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 weeks' time. You could go to Google Play Store or Apple App Store. You could download the app. Very simple. Once you get the app, then you basically immediately log in. We don't ask for your personal information. You don't have to give us your passport. We don't need to know who you are. We don't need to really have to have your proof of address. None of those is actually required. All we really care about is your cryptographic public address of your wallet. That is essentially how we recognize you, and that is your ID within our system. We don't even care about your nationality, by the way. So when you join, you either create an account using a simple email. In that case, we will cryptographically generate a special ID for you. Or you could just, if you already have a Solana Web3 wallet, then you bring the wallet, connect to our app, voila, you could start. And then once you get to the app, then you click on the button. Then you are essentially training our AI to earn. We call that train to earn. Now, once you get into the app using your Solana Web3 wallet, then immediately you're going to start seeing some interesting campaigns that are coming up. And these campaigns are refreshed every week because we got thousands of topics that we have to train. And these are ongoing and always refreshed. So in the case of Mike, I just go through that and then I basically choose ones that I like. And once I click on the campaign that I want to participate, then you are immediately interacting with this particular, the system where basically what you're doing is typing. And you're typing sentence or phrases or word. By doing so, you're just naturally training our mind AI. So as you generate this data, what actually happens is you're typing, and this data is actually submitted to the blockchain. And then when that submission happens within our system, we're actually taking snapshot of your wallet ID, your date, and then timestamp, and that gets recorded directly to your data. Why are we doing that? Because we want to trace you. Our system is very, very different from other, let's say, generative AI, where it's a statistical number crunching. Our system, we trace everything. So when an outcome is made, we could go through the whole thing all the way down to which person at what time, at what date, created that particular data, and we could trace it. And this is all done on public blockchain. So that's the power of blockchain, because all the record that goes through the blockchain is a public record. And once the submission is made, then on the other side, we have a bunch of validators who are also getting paid. They're getting paid in SNS token. And their job is to make sure that particular data set that's coming up, whether these are sentences, phrases, or words, they simply approve or disapprove based on certain criteria. Now, if a certain submission is approved, then that's when you get paid. Very simple. Obviously, we built a system, and it's very complicated in the back end, but the user experience is relatively simple. So some of you may listen to this story and you go, you know what? I think I've seen this type of stuff before. There are lots of other Web2 apps out there, like TaskRabbit. You perform certain tasks and you get paid. For example, you join an app and then you fill out a survey and you get paid. Yes, there are lots of those Web2 regular internet services available out there. In fact, within AI space, there are a few billion-dollar corporations, sometimes startups, that are already doing that. For example, Scale.ai. It's a $7 billion company. All they do basically is to train Tesla, Samsung, and often OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT. If you use Alexa by Amazon, it is likely that a lot of the data is coming from this system called Mechanical Turk. If you use Bing, then a lot of their AI data is actually coming from clickworker.com, that's based in Germany. So there are lots of these systems already in existence. Now, our system is fundamentally different because we are the world's first cryptographic blockchain-based AI data supply chain. And why we're different? There are three different ways. Number one, our payment is super fast. Why? We don't go through a regular banking system. We go through cryptocurrency. So for example, if you use Mechanical Turk, this is how it works. Let's say Mike in Mumbai wants to join the system. I have to provide my passport, my proof of address, often my bank account. If I don't have a bank account that is not connectable to PayPal, I'm not even invited. But let's suppose that you jump through the hoops and you became a member. Now, from the registration until your first paycheck coming out, it takes about 45 days. If you use our system, it takes 7 days. So the ease of payment and payment processing is very powerful. Number two, Synesis One is decentralized governance system. What that means is the community governs what is right and what is wrong. Not a nation state, not corporation, not a single individual, not even me. And let me tell you why it is so important. If you use ChatGPT, I mean, there's roughly about 100 million people using it now. It's quite massive. And you could Google this, by the way. There are people in America, they try to break the system. And then they ask very difficult, politically charged questions. And when they do, often the current determination is that ChatGPT is generally highly liberal. Their viewpoint is very democratic as opposed to, let's say, Republican. And the reason why that is so is because the owner of ChatGPT, which is openai.org, is mainly, their shareholders are Silicon Valley big tech shareholders. And their views are highly California-based liberal viewpoint. Now, if you ask ChatGPT that is geopolitically more sensitive, let's say something related to China, or what's happening in Ukraine, and as a Russian person asking the question, the answers will almost invariably come out a little funny. It's not fair. It's not definitely geopolitically neutral. It's a little lapsated. Now, I'm not going to show it to you here on screen, but you could just simply test it yourself. Why is this the case? Well, it is because that's the outcome of being and participating in capitalism. Capitalism is all about a corporation owning a product, and it's the owner of the corporation dictates what is right or wrong. As long as the outcome serves their interest, it's okay. If it doesn't, it's not okay. That's capitalism. Now, AI is one of those things where I believe that it should be a public good. It must serve the public's interest, and that public cannot be only Americans, nor Chinese, nor Russian, but it has to serve the humanity. Now, how do we ensure that that is the case? It's not easy. Now, if you use a regular legal system, then it's very difficult. So, Synesis One is all about effectuating governance based on what we call DAO. This is a decentralized organization where the participants of our ecosystem can vote and they can effectuate what is right or wrong. So this type of geopolitically sensitive issues or culturally sensitive issues or politically sensitive issues can be addressed by the DAO governing. Now lastly, data provenance. This is related to traceability. Now as I said, when Mike put in the submission, we track everything. So it is one submission that has all the timestamp, and then the contributor's ID recorded in the entire system. Now, we repeat this process 1 billion times. Then we are building a data structure that is highly traceable. Now, in a ChatGPT situation, it is not. You cannot trace it because they turn every piece of data into ones and zeros, and then they put it through a supercomputer, and they simply crunch everything. They can't identify where the data actually came from because there could be trillions of different sources, and then the source is not precisely identified. Whereas Synesis One, we actually can identify everything. So where do you go from here? So Synesis One was built singularly to focus on helping Mind AI to get data. And we built it, we accomplished our mission, and we'll be releasing our entire system to the mainnet in about next 30 days or so. Now, once that's done, because what we built is so incredible, that we're thinking about opening the system to other AI systems. We're essentially generalizing our infrastructure in such a way that it could help other AI companies to basically solve their problems. So that's the next step. So this afternoon, Tracy, he's our head of gamification, he's going to be holding a 4-hour work session so that some of you can actually join him, and then he will run these sessions to train and basically show everyone how to train Mind AI and get paid. And that's it. Thank you.